Yeah, man. I try and decorate stuff that kind of reminds me a bit of my childhood.
Yeah.
I don't know, like we've known each other for a few years now, but like obviously I haven't dove into any of my personal life. But anyway, my childhood home burnt in 2018.
Gotcha.
And we had like, the original 90s Ninja Turtle action figures, the gargoyles, whatever. It makes me sound super nerdy, but I mean, you're kind of in that space too, the collectibles.
Yeah.
So where I've kind of lost my childhood, so to speak, it kind of sounds depressing.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun to bring it back. Right?
Well, that's it. So kind of like every once in a while I'll go on Marketplace and I got like the Ninja Turtles van back there and, just kind of recollecting some of the stuff I lost. 100%. And I tend to just decorate my office with that stuff because it's my space. I do this. I have cool chats with cool people and I just think I think people like you especially can appreciate some of that.
100%,
And, I mean, it's a guy's office, guy's space.
Exactly,
I mean, what do you expect, right? Yeah. Well, thanks so much, John, for coming on. We got John from East Coast Kicks. So just wanted to thank you for coming on. I know we've been working on it for a little while, but, schedules, conflicts, 100%. But we're here. First episode of the new year, so thanks for kicking us off.
No worries, man. Appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Thanks. It's friggin' cold, man, last couple of days.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it because I like winter myself, you know what I mean? I don't mind the snow and stuff like that. I'd rather snow than rain, so.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, me too. I just, some days are just, when they get like that negative 20 plus it's just like, it's another layer of adversity, but I do like adversity, so I'm kind of like you. I'm not complaining. Fall's probably my favorite season.
I like fall as well.
Yeah, like, especially in the early fall, like, it's real.
Changing,
it's beautiful. It's cool in the morning, so maybe you need a sweater or a jacket, but then usually by like mid-afternoon, you're peeling that off. You almost got to bring like an extra bag for like maritime weather in the fall, right?
Yeah. So, might rain a little bit, you never know.
Yeah, you kind of never know, and you like spin around a couple times, it change, right? So, yeah, man, so let's kick it off. I just wanted to kind of get a little background on you for the viewers, like who's John, where's he from, what's he all about?
I mean, I was from the north end of Halifax, so grew up there. Went to St. Pat's High. I was the last graduating class out of there. So
last one.
Yeah.
Right.
They opened up.
What year was that?
That was 2007.
Okay, so we graduated same year.
Yeah, and then the next year they opened up the Citadel High there. So
yeah. Hard to believe, man. Time flies.
Man, it's crazy because like my elementary school's tore down, my high school's tore down. Like, got me feeling old out here,
man. Yeah, I had my like 10-year, I mean, it's been a couple of years ago now, but my 10-year reunion for university.
Yeah exactly.
And I was like,
time flies, man.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. And it seems like the older you get, the faster it goes.
It does. You turn around and it's already the next month or the next year even, right?
Yeah. So. Do you ever have your folks like say like, you get like in an argument and be like, I can't wait till I'm old enough to drive or have my own place, and they're like, hey, don't you wish your youth
Definitely
away?
When I was younger, and that same thing I tell my daughter as well. She's like, I can't wait till I can do this without having to ask. And I was like, you say that now, but you just be thankful that I'm telling you no now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And you hate it when you're that age.
Yep.
And then you come to realize out of all things, parents can be right and wrong about a lot of stuff. But, and like my parents too, but like they were bang on about that. I look back and I'm like, man.
Yeah. My dad always said, this is life lesson number 768 kind of thing, right? Just naming off random numbers, but there were always life lessons that I carry to this day, you know what I mean? And then teach my daughter as well.
Yeah, 100%. There was a lot of like, do as I say and not as I do in my house, which I didn't agree with very much. It was just like no explanation. You couldn't do it. But like for stuff like that, I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like this one made sense.
Yep, 100%.
So tell me a little bit about like shoes. Why shoes? What got you into shoes? Like what got you in the game?
I was always like a sneakerhead before I even knew what a sneakerhead was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My parents would give me X amount of dollars for a back to school pair, and I would work the whole summer just so I had the extra bit of money so that I could go get that pair of Nike shoes before school started, right? Yeah. And then it just kept going and going, and I was just known as the guy with a lot of shoes. I was actually voted most likely to be homeless, but have 15 pairs of shoes in my high school yearbook. So
What a thing to be
I
voted
know,
for.
I'm right where
Trick
I gotta
them.
be. Yeah,
Trick
yeah.
them.
But like even then, like in high school, we went down to New York, and I think I ended up buying like 4 or 5 pairs of shoes, and having to get other people to take the pairs of shoes and put them in their luggage to get them back and everything like
Right.
that. So
Did you nail you with duty or anything coming across
no,
there?
because we were on a bus with like a bunch of kids. So
Oh, yeah,
they
it's too
didn't-
much stuff.
Yeah, they didn't really go through it or anything like that.
So you
but
snuck
just
it all across.
well, yeah, just for me to carry it all, I couldn't even do it. So.
Yeah, you need like 2 extra suitcases.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like you can't break down the boxes or anything, right? So you got to keep them all whole. But yeah, sneakers has always been a thing. Then I moved out west and learned more about like the culture and like the collecting side of things, and that's where I really got more involved and learned more, made more friends, and then moved back home to the East Coast because I was actually out west.
What were you doing out there?
I was actually working on blowout preventers for the rigs. So I was a shop foreman out there.
Oh,
and
okay.
doing like pressure testing to 10,000 psi and all kinds of stuff like that. So very important job out there. I mean,
Sounds dangerous too.
It was very dangerous. There's a lot that could go wrong, and like dealing with the H2S gas and everything like that. So it was good pay, that's for sure. But like I had no life. I was on call 24/7.
Right.
Something went wrong on the rigs, I would literally have to drop whatever I was doing. I remember leaving the golf course because I had to go to a rig and fix something. So
You
like,
golf?
I hit the ball.
Yeah. You're like me.
Yeah.
I always try and get out of it, but
Yeah.
like every year I try and get a little bit better, or that's the plan. And I take a couple lessons.
I always say golf's like the hardest sport to play.
I
You
think
know what
so.
I mean? 100%. Like just to get the ball to go straight and consistently go straight, there's a lot involved.
There's so many variables.
But like as far as a good time with like 3 buddies go out with a foursome, and it's great, right? So,
yeah, you're together, you're outdoors, you're
Right.
getting some exercise,
Right.
probably a couple laughs.
Yeah.
Probably hit a couple good shots.
Yeah.
Those are the ones keep you coming
That's
back.
what I mean. 1 or 2 shots, and I'll be there next
Right?
time.
Chip one on the green from like,
Yeah.
inside of 100. You're
Yeah.
like, all right, I
Yeah.
can do this.
Yeah.
Not really. But.
No, but that's just the mentality to keep you going, right?
So when were you out west, and in what year was there like a time span?
Yeah, so I graduated. I went to actually NSCC, took my automotive service and repair.
Okay.
So I worked at Nissan and Infinity down on Kemp Road in Halifax.
Okay, cool.
And then that like whole little term ended, and they didn't have space for me to stay on as like a full-time tech, but
Right.
they gave me enough hours to get my first block and blah, 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 blah. So I actually went out west trying to get a job out there. And I was actually working at Cal Tire, which is like a tire shop, but they have mechanics in the back. So I was doing that, and then that's when I met the buddy that did the BOPs and stuff like that. And so he brought me on. Didn't know a single thing about anything, but learned it and understood it and worked my ass off so that I actually ended up being the shop foreman there. So I actually had like 4 or 5 guys under me that I would have to like delegate what to do, blah, 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 blah. Company credit card, company gas card, all that good stuff.
All the
So
corporate
I had
goodies.
it was pretty good out there. But then like I would get off work on Friday, drive down to Calgary and stay the night in the mall to get my shoes on Saturday morning. Right.
Shit,
And like
really?
that, yeah, like out there it's a different ball game.
So you're
right?
camping out there.
Camping out, sleeping on the floor. But like that's where I met a lot of the people, right? And then I moved back home in 2016 to have my daughter, and then I was just buying and selling everything on Marketplace because there was just an abundance of shoes. So I'd buy them, sell them to all my buddies out west. But meanwhile, like people around here were like, "Oh, Johnny's got shoes. Like just message him." Blah 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 blah. So I was just doing it out of my spare bedroom as like a hobby, really using those shoes to buy what I wanted essentially, so I didn't have to pay for my shoes.
And that's kind of how we met.
100%.
You know, I mean,
Yep.
that's early on in your life, but I'm talking about what you were doing.
Yep.
Like,
But like that wasn't a thing here. You know what I mean? Nobody was buying and selling and creating that market, right?
so you've seen the white space in Halifax.
Right. And then just started doing it as my, like, I want to say spare job, but like extra income and
Yeah. Or at least supporting your habit.
exactly. Yeah.
A shoe collection.
But then, I took $5,000 of my own money and just set it aside just for shoes and never touched it. Anything I sold, I put back into it and just let it build up. And then it just became, I ran out of room and it was getting weird meeting people at my house. And
Yeah.
so the first store was a must just to have a separate space, right? And then one that I could like, when I'm home, I can be home, and then when I'm there, I can be there, right?
Yeah,
and that's
I feel
kind
that.
of where it started. Like I said, I was getting in trouble at my other job for being on my phone trying to sell shoes while I was there.
Right.
To the point I was just like, man, I woke up and answered 2 messages from last night and sold 2 pairs of shoes and made more money than you're gonna pay me today and tomorrow. So
right, like, where am I prioritizing my time?
Right, I gotta really make a decision here, and I finally made that decision to pursue it full time, and I haven't looked back since.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
I love a good success story like that. What was the year? What was the, when was the D-Day?
I established in June 2017, but like I'd already been doing it and but like that was when I made the decision to do it and like start a business and get the business registered and all that other stuff. Mm-hmm. And then January 1st, 2018 is when we got the keys to the first store. And like
where was that one?
First store was on West Street. It was literally the size of this room, 290 square feet total.
Nice.
So literally there were shoes you could turn around and leave pretty much, right?
That's
so
it.
It was just tiny.
So what, you had like shelving, or you just stacking them up?
Yeah, exactly. Just shelving. Always had the one shoe on display and the other shoe in the back just for security purposes.
Of course.
Just built it up from there, made those connections, met different people along the way. Like, if it wasn't for sneakers, me and you probably would have never met. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. And like you were saying, like I kind of started, buddy of mine, Joel, that runs my jiu-jitsu club.
Yep.
He was always into shoes, and I always I like nice things.
Yep.
And anyways, Jordans kind of come about, and I was like, oh, these are cool.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of buying them because I liked them.
Yep. And that's where it all started for me too, right? Just buying what I liked and wearing what I liked and just having the different varieties, right? A blue shoe, you got a blue shirt kind of thing, right?
Yeah, match it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then anyway, I was going to train jiu-jitsu, and I just like roll in. I don't know if I had these or whatever, and my buddy was like, "Oh,
where'd you get
man,
those?"
you like Jordans too?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I like nice shoes."
Yeah.
He's like, "Have you been like doing any reselling?" I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, well, I got some, and I've been like, trading them, selling them on Marketplace. Like they're worth more money, like the limited releases." And I'm like,
"Whoa,
oh."
Yeah.
And then this was about the pandemic, and I was just kind of getting into like studying for my real estate license.
Yeah.
And I just got let go from like my corporate job of like 8.5 years. So I had some extra time. I had some extra money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like to be busy.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's see what this is all about.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, it was like, you see what you can find online. You start to learn about StockX and different places to, kind of look at the values of the shoes and like what you're buying them at retail for.
That's always the hardest part is putting a price on a pair of shoes, right? There's so many variables and this and that, and putting a price on a pair of shoes has been the hardest part of my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you find like that's like some of the, I know because a lot of the, the youth, the young kids are trying to do the same thing, get the hustle. And, you always see like, at least I've seen on Marketplace, it'd be like, I kind of had an idea what the shoe would be worth, and they'd like want like $200 or $300 more.
Yep.
And it'd be like, bro, you're never going to sell that shoe.
And that's always what I always say, right? The shoe's only worth what I can find a buyer for. Right?
Yeah.
You can price it at whatever you want or as low as you want. People, like there's some people that have stuff well under market, but they just can't reach the people that are trying to buy it.
Right.
Right? Like Marketplace is so saturated with even like fakes and all the stuff that nobody wants kind of thing. You got to sift through it all to really find something good.
Yeah, man. And Marketplace is tough. Like I find like everybody's trying to beat you down to nothing.
Yeah.
And it's
or
like,
trade or
it's like, guys, the price
is right there. Like,
I bought for a certain amount. This is the margin I need for it to make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's like a little bit of negotiating room. Like,
I mean,
you
always got to try. And I mean,
but I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
Right?
But like 9 times out of 10, like you might get $10 or $20 off, right? Nobody's going to budge. They're not going to give it to you for $150 less than they got it listed for.
Yeah.
Right.
So what would you say has been like the hardest lesson learned, like when you first got into like opening your own store?
I mean, there's so many. Like
maybe give me like top 2.
Yeah, my business is made on like trial and error kind of thing, right? You got to try this to figure out that this doesn't work and this doesn't work. The biggest lesson I would say is take care of your customers. Like, as starting a business, like, your family and friends are only going to take you so far. They're only going to buy so much.
Yeah.
The people that you don't know are the ones that are going to carry your business.
Man, I'm so happy you said that, because I find like customer service is like a dying thing.
It is. And, like, especially nowadays, like restaurants you go to and stuff like that, like, it's not the same as it used to be.
Minimal
right?
service, and now they want 18%.
Right, and you can't even get past the thing without hitting the tip thing.
I
right?
know, right?
So, and that's one thing, we've never done tips, nothing like that. Like, we're there to help you, kind of thing, and that's our job, and we're okay with that.
Yeah, I remember I was showing homes to clients.
Yeah,
and it was late. It was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It was crazy that there was nothing open. It was like, we were looking late. It was like 9:00.
Yeah.
Nothing open. We get to big leagues. They're open.
Yeah.
We walk in. We're like, yeah, it's a table for, there was 4 of us.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, yeah, well, the kitchen's closed,
Oh, yeah.
but bar's open. I go, well, we checked the website. It says you're open till 9:30. She goes, oh, yeah,
That's
we don't check that.
Yeah.
And she walked away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean.
What,
man.
just
yeah.
walked away.
Done, over it.
See ya.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not here just to have a pint or whatever?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah, pretty much.
And meanwhile, if we stayed, she'd be coming with her little thing for 18%.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy man.
Yeah.
But you're right. You got to take care of your customers. That's priority number 1 for me.
Yeah,
Because if I don't have customers and they're not
I
happy,
don't got a
same with
business.
you. We
Yeah.
got nothing.
Yeah.
And, I hate to say it. And I mean, I do have some great, wonderful friends that have supported me from day one.
So do I.
But
won't take anything away from them.
the biggest portion of them don't reside in that category.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, like, my biggest customers are people that I know them personally now, like, to say their name and like where they're from, kind of thing like that.
But
just
day one,
yeah,
there was no relationship.
Right, exactly. They walked into my store not knowing me, but just had the love for sneakers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy. You really get to know who's there for you when you're going into business for yourself.
Yep.
Eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. So, what was a kind of another thing in terms of operating a store? Like, was there any other hurdles that you had to kind of endure?
We've been through a few. I mean, COVID was a huge one where we actually got physically shut down. So learning the back end of things and like advertising and stuff like that was a big one for us. That and like, yeah, just the like promotional ads and stuff like that, and trying to like focus it more online than the in-store process that we're used to.
Yeah.
So that was a huge one. I mean, we were closed for a couple months there where I couldn't even have anybody in my store. So I literally had to make it sell online. And so I learned quite a bit through that. Another one would be like the flood was a big one. Like,
when you guys were in Bedford, they wouldn't do anything for you.
They wouldn't do anything for us. And then just going through insurance and like we lost a lot of pairs. So I had people on the back of my neck trying to be like, you don't have my shoes. I need my money, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like.
That's a stressful position to be in.
I definitely lost years off my life with that one.
Yeah,
but
I bet.
Again, I learned everything to know. I went through so many different adjusters and learned what I could get and what I should get versus what they told me I could get and the percentage that they would give me and everything like that. But yeah, just different. And then again, customers would reach out to me. Like I'd post a question or on my Instagram and people would reach out to me being like, oh, you can do this, this, and this, or call this guy and ask him this and this and this and this. So I pretty much turned into an accountant, a lawyer, and everything all just by myself.
Well, when you run a business, like, and I'm doing it too, like you kind of got to be the one guy. You got all the hats.
Exactly.
One day you're an accountant. One day you're the salesman. One day you're the marketer.
Yep.
One day you're the stock guy.
Yep.
Like it's like
that's what I mean. Starting a business, you learn a lot about the different categories and stuff like that. Like obviously, some things you'll pick up on better than others, and if you can't pick up on that, you need somebody you can fall back on and ask those hard questions.
Yeah, man. And I think the most important part when you're in business too is like, these hurdles or these small failures, like as long as you look at them as a learning,
Yeah.
you're not really failing. You're
Nope.
you're going to grow from that and you're
Yeah.
going to, get
I
better.
always say the comeback has to be stronger than the setback.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
So that's how I took both of those situations. And like I said, just learn through them all. And hopefully if it ever happens again, knock on wood,
Right. Yeah.
I'll be a little stronger going into it.
Yeah. So any positives that come out from that? Like I know you said like your online business, did you see a good amount of growth from there? Did you learn a little
Oh,
a couple
definitely.
things?
I learned more about like the ads and like where to post the ads, what time to post the ads, what ads work, what doesn't work. Like obviously we've gotten a lot more into like the content creating, like the videos
Yeah, I
and
see
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And those are what build the business. Like I could post shoes for sale all day long, right? But the shoe's going to be something that somebody doesn't like or not the same size or blah, 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 blah. Whereas the content reaches everybody. Everybody thinks it's either funny or informative or whatever it be like that. So we've definitely dove more into that to try and reach a broader audience. And like those are the videos that get shared and comments and likes and stuff like that. And that's what really helps grow the business.
Nice. So something that's of interest to me, obviously I post a lot of content. We actually did a little
Yeah, we did
collab
a little video there.
where we did a contest giveaway. You provided a gift card and it was a collab with a few other local businesses. I've tried some promotional ads on Meta or Facebook, Instagram. I did a little bit on TikTok. Unfortunately for me, I haven't really figured out the formula. Do you have any tips or tricks for people that
Just keep going. Like,
just keep trying? Is it just like you say, trial and error, or do you have a formula now?
It's not really even a formula. It's more so like putting more into the actual video and hoping something happens, right? Like I know what doesn't work and what does work kind of thing.
For you.
But but as far as like posting it and knowing that this one's going to blow up kind of thing, I never have an idea.
Never.
Right? It's always lucky. And like I said, the shares and the comments from the people definitely help out. But like, the video I have the most views on is like a random video where we're down at the buskers and I filmed somebody winning the Keymaster, and that one's got like well over 1 million views right now. Just a random video, no editing, no anything, just a raw video of buddy winning the Keymaster, and it got well over 1 million views.
Do you think that's just because it's like, relatable to a lot of people?
That's what
or
I mean. I have no
idea,
idea, right?
And you get a lot of action from that machine.
I do, yeah. We've got...
Where'd you get that thing?
I bought that through Cineplex, actually, like the movie theaters.
Is that from Cineplex?
It's not from Cineplex, but it's from like whoever they order it from. It actually came out of Montreal. I think it's like Player One is the name of the brand. But yeah, that was by far one of my best investments.
Yeah, man. What does it cost for a turn? I think I've tried it before, but
$5 a turn. And then if you win the shoes, if I don't have your size, I give you store credit and you win whatever you spend it on whatever you want.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but most times people are going for the shoe that they want, kind of thing, and the ones that are in there are the ones that we have the most sizes of.
Okay. What's like the success ratio for people? Do you have an idea?
I couldn't
like
tell you
100?
that, but if you do the math, I think it's like we're at like 225 winners, and each win is about $500. There's a lot of plays on that machine.
Yeah. 225 winners.
Right. At about $500 a piece. And then before, we actually had the top row set with like PS5s when those were first came out and booming, like Off-White 5s, Union 4s. We had a few big pairs go in that machine as well.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go in there and get a turn.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a lot of the positives about the business. Yeah. Have you endured any negatives, like in terms of like public perception? Like sometimes people are like, oh yeah, those are the guys, they scoop up all the shoes and nobody can get anything.
I've been dealing with that since day one, so now it just hits me and bounces off.
Right.
Right.
It just like, rolls off your back.
I've done so much good for the community around here. Like we've literally put $1 million+ back into the pockets of Nova Scotians.
Yeah.
Like tax free, like we sold your pair, here's your money back.
Yeah. Right? And they have to do their, whatever they're doing with their accounting and all that.
Yeah,
that's
well,
on them.
Even then, like, I don't know how the government works in that, but like a personal sale like that, like I don't charge them tax, so they don't got to charge me tax, so it's all tax free to them. But
Yeah.
I submit the tax on the actual sold pair.
Of
so,
course, the remittance
but
on the sale.
it's I mean, I've sponsored numerous hockey players, basketball players, lacrosse players, so it's like a good position to be in, and like people come to me like dying to be sponsored by us, right? Because they love shoes just as much as I do. And I mean, if I was a kid, I would definitely want a sneaker store to sponsor me. So
100%,
yeah.
man.
But like as far as like the negative, like it'll always be, oh, he's taking the pairs from us and not letting us get them. But
yeah, and then market them up, and we
Right.
got to pay more.
But the only thing is if I don't buy them, somebody else is going to.
100%. It's
Yeah.
not like you're the only guy scooping them up.
And that's the other part. We're consignment based, so a lot of the people that do pick them up bring them to me, so it just looks like I get them all, but really I don't.
Yeah, because you have, HRM that brings you shoes.
Exactly.
And even, I'm sure people send them.
Yeah,
from,
like some of my biggest consigners aren't even from Nova Scotia,
Yeah.
right? They send me everything in big, huge, like shipping boxes that like you can barely lift them up. There's just jam-packed full, right?
jam-packed full.
Yeah.
What's the furthest consignment had?
Well, we've had
geographically?
pretty much every province in Canada has
Anything
sent me.
outside?
I haven't really done too much with the States just because of
The exchange.
and the like they would have to ship the big box as a gift, and I don't
Right,
know
because you're going
how-
to get nailed with
duties and everything.
Yeah, it's
like
not
that.
even worth
Yeah.
it. So you're very much like Canadian tried and true.
100%,
You're the
yeah.
Canadian seller.
Yep.
Reseller.
Like I said, and like most of them are in Nova Scotia just because it's so easy to just come drop off. Like,
Yeah.
But I've built that trust with so many other people outside that they spread the good word, being like, oh, if you can't find a store in your local city, just send them to East Coast Kicks, right? He pays out. He doesn't, there's no foolery in it. Like, if your pair of shoes is on the website, then I still have it. If it's not,
It's sold.
I've already paid you pretty much.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, and I used to keep a little spreadsheet when we were doing business, and like I was bad because I'd fund my own buying.
Yep.
But, even with some of the buying and keeping some of the shoes for myself, because, I'm a size 9.
Yeah.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 9, I got this from a buddy years ago that was into shoes too, kind of got me into it. But the 9 is like the one that people want the most for collectibles.
So 9 to 11, I call it, is my money size. That's what the majority of people that are walking into my store, that's going to be their size, right?
Yeah.
Anything smaller than a 9 is like a kid or a woman, but they don't really get past the size 8.
Right.
And then men and everything get past size 9 up into 11 kind of thing. So like the 8, 7.5, 8, 8.5 are like, they've got to be that size, and they might only be that size for a little bit kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah, 9 to 11 is where most people settle in kind of thing.
So if you're getting into the shoe game, don't get anything outside of 9 and 11.
But then I say that, but like, it's always good to have whatever. You never know who's going to walk in and want something, right?
And it's hard to know when you're in those queues, like, what's going to be left.
Picking so fast.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff
click,
like
click,
that.
click,
Yeah.
put in the cart. And
Yeah.
sometimes you're in the cart and it's like, oh, it's not available.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Why do you think, too, like, people are like, oh, yeah, they're scooping up all the shoes and they're driving up the prices. But, like, at the end of the day, if Nike wanted to, they could just make more pairs.
So that's what's kind of going on right now.
Is that an
Nike,
issue?
Yeah, 100%. Nike and Jordan Brand are, in my opinion, releasing too many.
Too many.
Right? Like, it's cool. Like, everybody gets them. But, like, for me, sneakers are, I want what people don't have. You know what I mean? I don't want to walk into a store 2 months later and what should have sold out a long time ago is still there. Right? Because then obviously it hurts me because I can't resell it for more. But it also, like, it just takes away from the shoes. You know what I mean? The Black Cement sitting, the Legend Blues sitting, the Fear 4s sitting. Fear 4s were $600 to $800 pair a year or two ago.
And now they're not even moving.
Now they barely even moved off the shelf.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember, too, like, this is just one that sticks in my mind, but it was the Rick and Morty's.
Yep.
They were, I think, were Pumas.
Yep.
And they were, like, purple and green.
Yeah, one was green, one was like reddish. Yeah.
Yeah. And those were like all the hype.
Yeah.
But then they started releasing different colorways, and then it just kind of was like.
But those ones still held their value because they were more limited, and it was one of the first pairs that he had released.
Okay.
LaMelo Ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that's cool. You know what I mean? They're bringing more style to it, something different, and it's like the mismatched shoes. Like it's great on court, right? It catches eyes, and like other people would buy two of the same pair and wear opposite shoes just to be different, right?
Yeah. I know. I've seen guys young kids walking down the street, and I'm a shoe guy, so I naturally. Most people probably ain't looking at people's feet, but
contact before eye contact.
Yeah. I'm like, I see one guy's walking with two different color pair of shoes, and I'm like, oh, that has to be on purpose.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm old now, right?
Yeah.
Some kid up the street, I had Jordans on, and I don't know if I had just a sport jacket and like a white tee and jeans under. It was like a nice. They were playing basketball, and I passed by, and he was like, "Nice fit," and I was like, what did you just say?" I thought he was like chirping me or something, and he's like, "Nice fit." I was like, "What does that mean?" He goes, nice fit, like what you're wearing. It looks nice. And I go, "Oh, thanks, man."
Yeah.
And I just went and kept going to get them. I was going to get the mail, and I'm just like, man, I'm so out of touch with
but such
the
a
lingo.
Good feeling, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I was little,
and that's what I like. You know what I mean? Like even as people walk in the store, like if they got nice shoes on, I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. And most times, if I do have a nice pair of shoes on, somebody that day is gonna be like,
"Oh, always
nice shoes."
Yeah.
And they'll be like, nice cool gray 11s or retro 3s or whatever I got on. They're just like, there's usually somebody that says it. Now I'm due for a couple new pairs, so I might have to come see you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We take care of you.
Yeah. But just to let people know, a few stats on the reselling business. Like people are like, oh, I've had people like, oh, there can't be any money in that. It's like, but unbestowed to people, it's a $3 billion market
easily. Yeah.
And from what I could find online, they expect it to grow to $30 billion by 2030.
I could see that. Yeah.
And then the used reseller market is expected to be up to $53.2 billion by 2032.
Yep. So a lot of people are always like, oh, it's got to be brand new, blah, 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 blah. But we sell a lot of pre-owned shoes. You know what I mean? You can get worn maybe 5 times for X amount of dollars less than you would a brand new pair. Why not? You're going to wear it anyway.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And I'm bad for new. I like new, but I've kind of changed how I operate a little bit because, we're doing all right, but going into business for yourself and, given the inflation and the landscape, always looking to save. Yeah. And my wife, I kind of got it from her. She's super frugal.
Yeah.
And, she doesn't spend my money. She barely spends her money.
Yeah.
And, she wears nice stuff.
Yep.
But, she'll scour Marketplace and find the chick that bought the Lululemon pants or whatever it is, wore it, twice.
That can't return it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
blah.
and they're like, oh, don't like the color, doesn't fit me right anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe gained a few pounds in the holidays, maybe lost a couple whatever. Yeah. And you'd never know.
Yeah.
And it's all in good quality. She checks it over and she gets that stuff for half at least.
Pennies on the dollar.
Half. Yeah. They're giving away their clothes.
Yeah.
Some of them are just giving them away.
And that's what it was with sneakers way back then. Now it's my store and other stores have created that awareness that
people know what they got now.
Right. That they know what they have, and then there's more people looking for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say there's a year that kind of you've seen a big
Yeah, the pandemic.
The pandemic was everything. It just jumped everything,
time. Well, there's so much extra money out there as well.
And people had extra time.
Right. Time, money, it all, sports cards, sneakers, took a huge jump that
Are you guys still doing much with collectibles and shit? Because I remember I was trying.
No, I don't do too much with the cards. When we moved into the Bedford Place Mall, AMG was right down the...
Yeah,
they dominated. You know what I mean? It wasn't even worth me asking for it anymore because I'd just be like, just go down there. They got it for better.
They got it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but even now, I personally don't invest in it just because I invest in shoes only. Yeah. I mean, obviously, a couple Pokemon cards and stuff like that, I'll pick up for myself.
For sure.
But as far as investing into it to resell it and stuff like that, I just don't have what it takes anymore because keeping up with those release dates and the times that those stores are getting those cards and stuff like that is just too much for me.
Yeah, man, I hear you. And that's another thing I've been trying to, because I had I don't know, my brother actually had the first generation Charizard.
Oh yeah.
and the house went.
Yeah.
And it's almost insult to injury because he did end up finding the card, but it's half burnt.
Yeah.
So he's just got it half burnt in a sleeve just to say like, because, anybody could say like, yeah, I had one of those.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, sure you had one. Oh, it went in the fire.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no, here.
Yeah.
Just crumpled up, half burnt. Yeah. But like, I remember Pokemon was just like the new thing when we were young.
I was huge into Pokemon when I was younger. That's for sure.
Man. And like, we'd go, there'd be the old Hobby Stop store, it was called in Yarmouth. It was like the only one, and there's never been another one.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a new expansion for you.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. No.
But we'd go buy, as soon as they got Pokemon cards, we'd go play hockey, and then we'd beg Dad to bring us over to get Pokemon cards.
Yeah. There used to be at like the multi-purpose center right next to the Forum. There used to be like I want to say like a flea market, and there used to be one guy there that had a table set up of Pokemon, and I would beg to go there right after hockey, like you just said, leave the Civic Center and literally walk over there and go buy 1 or 2 cards and then go home.
It's crazy.
I actually ended up trading or selling him all my good cards back then because I wanted to buy a BMX bike with pegs on it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where all
back to like not knowing what you had.
100%.
Do you think he did? Like how? Like was he selling stuff for astronomical prices?
No, everything was like decent. But then again, like I was so young and didn't understand the market side of things, and that there was 100 guys like him doing this all over the place, kind of thing. So obviously he knew the market. He knew what the value of the cards and stuff like that. So, but like I said, he was the one guy that I always went to. He's an older gentleman, and he just took care of everybody that came through, kind of thing.
That's cool, man. Yeah, back in the day, reselling.
Yeah, before I even knew what it was.
Yeah, man. I'm sure that was almost like the culmination of the start of things, right? Like, just collecting. But, yeah, man, I'm always trying, like, you pointed out those Star Wars cards. Like, I got them at the AMG store. Yeah. They were like $80 a piece or something. And I was just like, always into Star Wars.
Shout out to AMG, man. They were super nice to me my whole stay at the Bedford Place Mall and stuff like that. And Brad, the owner, always said hi, kind of thing, stopped in, checked on me. They were great people to have as a neighbor, I guess you could say. Yeah, man, it's my buddy Andrew Mitten that told me about him, because he was I don't know if you've ever come across Andrew at all. I think that sounds very familiar. Yeah, he was more on the card side. Like, when he seen I was kind of doing stuff with shoes, he's like, oh, have you ever done stuff like this? And then it's like, I was doing this, kind of as a side hustle just to keep busy. And But then I kind of got into real estate, and I had to like make a choice because I was trying to keep on top of the shoe releases. You have to be there at a certain time. Same with the cards, and there's so many other variables flying around that just the markets, right? Like knowing what's hot, what's not hot, what to buy, what not to buy. It's a full-time job essentially. And on the card side, I had no idea. Yeah. There's no like, you could kind of look at StockX or whatever, but I feel like there's still like there's a big gray area. Yeah, there's a gray area. Yeah. And like anything I bought, if I lost any or just broke even, it'd be on the card side. Yep. Once in a while I get a shoe that, allegedly was supposed to be a hot one, and then it just kind of flopped or didn't really go, or maybe I didn't get the right sizes or whatever. And that's always another thing, right? I always say right size, wrong, or right shoe, wrong size is a big thing that I say in the store, just because we have such a variety that you're able to find the shoe you want, but it's not always guaranteed to be in your size, kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. And then one time I got like half a dozen of these like animal print ones. Yeah. The threes? Yeah, I can't. They're women's. Okay. And anyway, they're all like small sizes, whatever. I didn't think they were going to go. And I mean, I priced them a little bit above market. Yeah. Meanwhile, I was just kind of trying to learn StockX, and I didn't like factor in like the broker fee and all that. And so I kind of lost there, but good learning experience. Yeah. Like I said, it's like anything you do in life, really, you got to look at it as the learning experience, because if you don't, you're just going to be down on yourself. That's when I moved over to you. Yeah. I was like, oh, frig this. Yeah. So like we take a lot of the, I don't want to say the responsibility off the people, but like we bring them to a broader audience and hopefully get you more than what you would get selling it by yourself. Yeah. And it's like, I'm a big fan. Like I'm a hard worker, and I'm not opposed to working hard. Like doesn't deter me, but like easy money's still the best money. Oh yeah. So if somebody's got a model that works,
why am I going to kill myself to reinvent the wheel?
Yep.
Like, obviously this guy knows something. He's built something.
Yep.
I'll just keep getting it.
Yeah. But that's what I mean.
Passing it.
Getting it is still a full-time job. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
like selling it is another.
You know, it's like kind of like getting a realtor or a mortgage broker. Like,
Yep.
I'm sure you could find a house.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm sure you could canvass all the banks to find a good rate.
Yeah.
But then we have the expertise to really,
Right.
tailor exactly what you need to
Exactly.
you.
You know
And
what
take the stress
what
off.
situation they're in, what's going to work for them, what's not going to
Yeah,
work for
because
them.
we've been there.
Exactly. You're going to take that. I mean, time is money is a big thing, right? So like
100%.
if you're able to pay somebody to get you on a straight line that you're not going way over here to have to come back over.
Zigzagging, yeah.
Exactly. It's always going to be more worth it in the long run.
Yeah, because a lot of people look at like stuff like maybe your brokerage. I'm calling it a broker fee or whatever you want, or consignment fee.
Yep.
It's like some people are like, oh, that's too expensive, or but they look at it as expense. It's like, well, no, that's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, 100%.
It's an investment
Yep.
in making the sale of your shoe.
Yep.
Because otherwise, maybe you don't make it.
Yep.
So your shoe that's worth $400 or $500.
Yeah.
If you're just sitting with it doing nothing,
Yeah.
it's worth zero, and you're
getting
actually
offered-
negative the retail price.
You're getting offered $200 all day long
on Marketplace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just
Because they're just like trying to get you.
Yep.
I hate
And then go and
Marketplace.
sell it themselves.
Right. Yeah, for more.
Yeah.
Because they know better.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Getting back to the market. So obviously it's very clear that, things are tough for a lot of people
Yep.
today. We got the, housing crisis. There's not enough houses.
Yep.
Inventory, rental stocks kind of
Groceries,
down. Groceries are
yeah.
sky high.
Yeah.
How have you seen kind of the landscape of this?
It's
affect you
definitely
guys?
down right now. People went from buying, 2 pairs a month to maybe buying one kind of thing. So hopefully that's going to turn around here very soon, and we're going to get more money into the pockets of Canadians. But another thing, like 2025 is pretty stacked for releases this year.
Is it stacked up?
It's pretty stacked up. In my opinion, there's lots of good OGs coming back, a couple new colorways that should do good. But yeah, like we definitely need more money into the Canadians' pockets.
Yeah,
If
man. Absolutely.
I had something to do with it, I would try and help that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, we're not going to get into it, but I
Yeah.
heard there might be an announcement later on this week that
hoping for
could
it.
start in that direction.
Yep.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Gee, I had a question right on the tip of my tongue. I was gonna ask there, but what were we just talking about?
Well, another thing I was going to say
Oh.
with all the releases in 2025.
Oh, that's what I want. Yeah, you need it. Yeah.
It could, and I mean, it probably will, force some people to sell some of their other stuff.
So it'll put
right.
some more inventory back out in the market.
Right. We'll put more inventory kind of into my store. Like my store, I always want the stuff that isn't everywhere else. You know what I mean? So if all these 2025 releases are just going to be sitting on shelves, then I want the older stuff that people want, kind of thing, that are less available and still, good shoes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm like strategizing for 2025. Like obviously I'm not going to go buy all of the new releases if they're still going to be sitting on shelves, because I don't want anything that's on shelves for retail at my store for over retail.
Right.
Then it doesn't make me look good.
Yeah,
So
100%.
I've always been a firm believer of having the stuff that is sold out or no longer available at those kind of stores.
Yeah, what makes the most sense for
Yep.
you, the most sought after pairs,
Yep.
the rarer pairs.
Exactly.
Speaking of 2025 being like a banger year for new releases and good colorways and good shoes, and I just mentioned I needed a few, and I've kind of been out of the game a little bit. So outside of like Foot Locker's like scheduled calendar releases, is there somewhere else that like a guy like me or a young guy or anybody that's interested that's not really like really linked in there can like keep it track of like what's coming out, what days, what vendors?
Foot Locker's probably the best for you, just because where you are is it's the only place where we're going to be able to get the shoes.
Right.
Courtside Sneakers over in PEI, they get a lot of that. They're like,
They always release first to the local though.
yes.
So by the time it hits online,
Yeah, sometimes they do it on, like, they change up their releases every time. Like, sometimes it's Canada-wide, sometimes it's in-store, sometimes it's Maritimes only. Like, They try.
Oh, they do mix it up.
They mix it up every now and then. But again, they're the closest boutique to us for releases and stuff like that. Like obviously, you go to Montreal, Toronto. There's 10 stores on the same street.
What's that one I seen? Isn't there one in the shopping center? Or did they close?
They closed. Yeah,
they couldn't make it.
They lasted like 8 or 9 months.
Yeah,
but Halifax Shopping Center is the most expensive place to put a store.
So they thought
big
price tag for rent, but they thought more volume, more traffic, more sales. Not the case.
Right. And like obviously I could be in the mall, but I chose not to be.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I was in a mall, but not that mall.
Yeah. I mean, aside from I'm think you're talking about Bedford Place Mall. Aside from the flooding, I thought that was a good location.
It was for me. It was right.
It was big.
Like, it was big. Like the security at night, stuff like that. Like all good things. I mean, we didn't get too much walk by traffic just because that mall isn't the greatest. Like they have no like headliner store. Like
right, they just got like the Fit for Less.
Right, the Fit for Less is like the best part of that mall, but they only use the one entrance. You come in, you pretty much go to the gym and you leave.
Right.
AMG has the best spot in that mall. They're literally right next to the gym. Mm-hmm. So no matter what, you got to walk by their store and take a peek in. So like that was all great. And I mean, the neighbors and being able to like cross promote with the different people in there and stuff like that was all amazing. But yeah, I mean, they raised my rent by $3,100. So I was like,
is that what that was after the flood?
After the flood, yeah.
So they're like, we're not going to help you.
Not helping
any
you.
of this flooding stuff.
Please move back. We'll take care of you. Not even a month later, they hit me with a $3,100 raise in my rent.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I'm leaving. Do you want the floor that I just put down for you? And they're like, nah. So I was like, well, I'm taking it.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I did. I pulled it up piece by piece and put it in the new store.
Yeah, man. On Joseph Zatzman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's got the floor that was in the Bedford Place Mall.
It did look familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So how's that location going? Like
it's great.
It's great.
Like again, we're more of a destination spot, right? So like, I mean, obviously I could go pay that high rent to be on downtown or on a main strip,
but people are going to seek you out.
Right. Another thing from the mall was like people were walking in being like, oh, why are your shoes $500? Why are they wrapped? Like stuff like that. Like
people that just didn't know anything.
Didn't understand, they didn't even care to ask to understand. They're just judged right away, right? So I don't get any of that at my new location. Everybody that comes in, I'm able to take care of them, ask them questions that they want to be asked kind of thing. And they're able to, it's a better experience in there because I don't have the people just walking in and seeing what's going on. They all seek me out, come in, know what the idea of my store is, and certainly don't judge me for it.
Yeah. They know what they're coming in for.
Exactly. They know what they're looking for. Like,
whether you get the rest of the naive public in the mall that don't understand what's going on.
I mean, I explain to anybody what I do and why I do it and how it works and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, people that would come in and just judge off the bat and like pick up a shoe, see it's $400 and be like, oh, this place is a joke, and then walk out. Like, I certainly do not miss that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But hey, at the end of the day, people's free market capitalism. You don't like it?
See you later.
Go to China or something. I don't know.
Exactly. Go down to Giant Tiger. I'm sure they got shoes down there.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I shouldn't shit on people. Like,
no, I don't.
What you can afford is what you can afford.
Yeah, and
unfortunately, this is the higher end of the shoe game, and people pay good money for rare shoes.
Exactly.
Because people want what they can't have, or
that's
that very
it, right?
few people have.
People always ask me like, who's ever going to pay that money for a pair of shoes? And I was like, all kinds of people.
Yeah.
Like if this was a size 11, it wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah. Well, you're a proof of concept too. Like you wouldn't exist if people didn't want what you had.
Yeah.
One question though, I guess, like, does Courtside do any consignment? Just because
they don't.
Don't.
They're a retail store. So that's a big thing. Like if you're a retail store, you can't be into the aftermarket. Right?
So you answered my question.
Yeah, you can't release that shoe that morning
and then resell it for more because they're like,
right.
you're double dipping.
Nike's gonna judge you for that, and the consumer is going to judge you for that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Because they're going to think you're scooping a few aside just to get the extra
Get the extra money. Yeah.
Because my other question was, have you ever thought about just getting into just the pure retail?
Absolutely not.
No.
Because with all the good shoes, you got to buy all the bad shoes.
Right. So there's mandatory amount of stock to get in XYZ pairs.
Exactly.
And I'm sure they're not taking them back at the end of the year if they don't sell.
No, but that's what I mean. They got to sell them at their cost.
Right. Blow them out.
Exactly.
Whatever.
And that, I mean, like, it's good for the consumer because they're able to get the shoes at that discounted price. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's hard to buy all of that just to get the good ones, right? The good ones release on the Saturday. They're normally sold out by the end of the day.
Right. So the juice isn't worth the squeeze, in your opinion.
In my opinion, yeah, it's not, unless you were to do it like I mean, Courtside has it made. They're very like basketball related, so they get a lot of
all the basketball.
They get a lot of the basketball shoes. They're also, I don't think there's a Foot Locker or anything like that in PEI, so they kind of like they have the market there. So where they are there, they're pretty much set in stone.
They're set.
Yeah,
because they had one up on.
They had one on Quimple Road.
Didn't go.
But that was literally in the middle of the pandemic as well, right?
So they just pulled out, didn't think of
it. Well, they didn't need it, right? They could operate online and just out of their base in PEI. So they were able to just focus it down to one. And that's even happening with resale stores like mine right now, right? Like where the market isn't as big as it was a few years ago and the money's not there. A lot of the stores that had like 4, 5, 6 locations are down to 1, maybe 2 locations. Yeah. So it's just more online operated and then like a base hub. Like you don't want to go on somebody's website. It says that they have it and you go to the store and they're like, oh, it's actually at the other store.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah. And I mean, things are changing, like the brick and mortar mom and pop stuff. Yeah, there's a few and a few staple stores and like, there still exists like multiple grocery and pharmacy but like in terms of the other categories, like you're seeing like, you got one flagship, maybe a couple stores tops, and then it's all online otherwise.
Yeah. Most like a lot of people are going online now.
Well, just less overhead.
Less overhead and less overhead and I mean, I like my store. I like being able to bring people in, let them try the shoes on, stuff like that. So I will never go online only unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah, man, I think there's still a ton of value to be able to walk. I'm an experienced guy.
Yeah, me too.
So when I come in your store and I get to talk to you and I see how passionate you are about the business and the shoes and how much you know, and then you got the other guys working in there that are equally as passionate, and maybe I'm like trying to figure something out or I don't know. You guys are very knowledgeable and helpful. And you're not getting that experience.
Yeah, exactly. And then
online.
We're never going to go out and tell you something that we don't know the actual answer to, right? Like if I don't know the answer, I'll ask the other 2 guys because they're young and ambitious and they know just as much as I do at this point, right? So I would never answer a question that I didn't know the answer to.
Yeah, and I mean, you got some people that'll try and bullshit their way through an answer, but like I think the most appropriate response if you don't have the information is like, listen, I don't know, but I'll figure it out for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
which is another life lesson, you know what I mean? And that's gonna continue to make your business better and give you that opportunity to answer that question the next time somebody asks it.
Yeah, properly.
Exactly.
And not have to backpedal because you give a bullshit answer that was a guess. And then they're like, oh, you actually didn't know and you lied to me. And maybe they moved on that info.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're telling them the different. And it's like, hey, man, you told me this and now you're saying, what?
Yeah.
So it's always, I never try and pretend like I know it all.
Yeah.
Because I don't.
No,
nobody does.
Nobody does.
The day you think you know everything is the day you're going,
yep.
Damn.
100%.
But let's get back on a better topic.
Yep.
What's your all-time favorite shoe?
All-time favorite shoe, probably the Bread Jordan 1s.
The Bread Jordan
black
1s.
and red Jordan 1s. I wore them the day my daughter was born. I've got 2 pairs. They're also releasing again this year in 2025.
You're going to scoop another one up for sentimental value?
I'm going to have to, yeah. This one's a little different. It's going to be the reimagined version. So it's going to be a little bit closer to like the Lost and Founds. Hopefully it's not as aged as much, but yeah, black and red Jordans are one of my go-to staples.
Yeah. I remember the retro Bulls. I think were
the
good.
Chicago's.
The Chicago's. Sorry. Yeah. Excuse, I'm not on top of things as much as I used to be.
They're releasing this year in a low, and then they just released last year or the year before as the lost and found.
Okay. Are they still hot, or are they kind
They're
of?
still doing well. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're holding a little bit of value just because, like, again, it's the OG Chicago colorway, and
Yeah.
stuff like that for Jordan Brand is always going to sell no matter how many.
Yeah, because Jordan's the man.
Exactly.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Second favorite pair.
Second favorite pair. Man, I'll probably have to say, like, the Yeezy Red Octobers is one that's eluded me that I've never. I mean, it's out of my budget range at now, but like that's one pair that's gotten away from me, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah, just because it's an originally Nike and it's old now, but
Yeah. It's originally Nike. What?
yeah, they were Nike Yeezys. So when Kanye was with Nike, he released.
See, this is how much I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought he was Adidas.
Yeezy 1s and Yeezy 2s. I own a pair of Yeezy 1s. I wear it every year on my birthday, but
Just once a year.
Just once a year, yeah. They're, like I said, they're getting old now, so the more you wear them, the more they might fall apart. And I don't want that. So
Yeah.
but
I'm the worst. I like to wear them.
yeah. Well, like I'm a firm believer is like especially Jordan 1s. Like the more you wear them, the better they look.
Yeah.
Right. But like as far as those go, like they like might start soul separating and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they're non-wearable.
Right.
Not just worn.
And that's what I want to keep them as a wearable for now.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, and I guess I'll tell people, so a brick would be a shoe that doesn't sell.
A shoe that releases that everybody thinks is going to do good, that doesn't do good, and becomes a very hard thing to move.
Yeah.
Like essentially you could just use the brick and build your house with it.
What was a brick that you thought would never sell that did actually sell in your store?
Brick that, oh man.
I'm getting you a tough one, maybe.
Yeah, no, well, like, well, I'll give you one that wasn't a brick that became a brick.
Okay, let's go with that.
The Panda Dunks, right?
Yeah.
They were going like hotcakes, couldn't keep them in stock. And then Nike took over, started re-releasing them and re-releasing them. And
just wrecking the Dunks.
Just destroying them.
Yeah,
so
I
like
remember
that,
I had a few and it took me forever to
I
move
still
them.
have my own money invested in quite a few of them that I don't know. I'll probably end up having to sell them for a loss.
You got a pair of 9s?
I might.
I'll be over.
I'd have to check.
Because I do like the color.
So I have them. I wear them.
Yeah.
They're very wearable. But yeah, Nike turned them into a brick. Like I said, they were good because they're an easy shoe to wear, black and white. But yeah, just the constant re-release of them, they became, everybody has them, so I don't want them anymore.
Yeah. And I did look up some terms again to get freshened up.
Yep.
So what's your daily beaters?
My daily beaters, like right
your
now,
most consistent ones you throw on,
so
don't even think, you're out the door.
Easy slides I wear quite a bit, just as like
in January.
Well, not right now. But I have like my winter wears. I got 2 pairs of Black Cat 4s. Again, Black Cats.
That's what you showed up at today, right?
They're gonna re-release again this year at some point as a reimagined. So I don't know what they're gonna look like, if they're gonna come out and they're gonna be a leather. Who knows? But like those, I wear. Like I have my summer pair and my winter pair. I wear them all winter long, essentially. So, but then I'll bring another pair of shoes to put on at the shop.
Yeah, you got indoor, outdoor.
Exactly. Yeah. So like the Black Hats, I wear quite a bit. So I guess they would be like my most daily driven shoe.
Nice. Just getting down to the end here because I know you got a few things to do. Yeah. Any big plans? 2025? Anything coming down the pipe?
2025, man. We're gonna stay pretty humble through 2025.
See what happens.
Yeah, like the floods set us back quite a bit. We rebounded from that, then had to move. So 2025, I'm just gonna stay low key for a little bit of it, and hope the market comes back around, hope the economy comes back around, and so like no big plans or anything like that. I mean, obviously we're probably still gonna do buskers and stuff like that, but like as far as big plans, I don't got any for 2025.
No. Buskers, hey, how you guys been doing with that?
Buskers is amazing.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because you got people from all over.
All over, new customers, old customers, people just coming to say hi and hang out with us.
Nice.
Like we do that with partner with Trev Clothing, right?
Yeah.
So,
I know Trev.
Yep.
Victoria Jessum's at my office.
Yep.
She's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like
Trev is awesome as well. Shout out to Trev.
So it's great. Like me and him have been essentially partners. Like the day I opened my store, he had his stuff on my shelf. So we've kind of built our businesses together, and we're able to do stuff like that. Whereas like that would be a huge expense for a small business to go down there and do that.
Okay, so you guys collab on the storefront.
We split it and do it all, right? So
that's cool.
It's great. And like I said, you get to meet the new customers, meet the old customers, and then it's cool. You just hang out and watch acts all day.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I see you got the co-branded.
Yes, sir.
ECK.
Had to wear it just in case I'm on video.
That's it. That's it. And we are. Last question for you, and I'll let you on your way, John. It's been a great conversation. Any advice for any young entrepreneurs or anybody kind of looking to kind of dabble in the shoe game? Like, what would be a good place to start, and what's a good kind of rule of thumb to kind of live by?
Yeah, when you're starting out, I mean, obviously have that set money aside. Don't re-spend it. Don't take out of it. Just continuously let that money grow. And then you'll learn along the way what to get, what not to get. Obviously, you're going to get burned on some pairs, but you can't let that discourage you. Just get the money back that you can and reinvest it, right? Just keep building it up. And, like I said, there's tons of lessons to learn. I sure as hell haven't learned them all, so I'm still learning as I go. But, yeah, just being able to separate it from, like, personal. Like, I know you said you bought shoes and then mixed it in a little bit, but like I always say, like try and keep it as separate as you possibly can, and look at your numbers. You see what you're making money on, what you're not making money on. Everybody's gonna have a different audience. Like maybe you're in junior high or high school, so most of the people that you're gonna meet are in a certain size sets. Just anything like that. Like whereas where I am now, I can have all the sizes because I never know who's going to walk through my door, kind of thing, right? So
focus on your audience, who got your eyes,
exactly,
who has their eyes on you.
Yep, and then just
tailor it for them.
Build from there, exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, man, I really enjoyed this conversation. It's got me thinking about the shoes and buying a new pair, and who knows? I do got a little bit more time now that like we've kind of like got a good system here with the real estate business.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe we'll see you again
know,
here in
man.
2025. All these hot releases got me thinking.
Like I said, 2025 is pretty stacked. There's lots of OG colorways that are coming back that are guaranteed to do better than others. Few colorways that are similar to like PEs or like the Travises that are going to come out as general releases that are going to do well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So 2025 wouldn't be a bad idea to start.
I think it's going to be a good year overall, just to get everything back on track across the board. Yeah. So I wish you all the success in 2025. We'll definitely keep in touch.
Always.
If there's anything I can ever do for you, don't hesitate to reach out.
Same goes to you, man.
Thanks so much for coming on. We'll let you get back out in the day there.
Sounds good, my man.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Yeah.